All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another post-fight discussion video. All right, y'all, finally got a chance to sit down and record this one, but I want to get my thoughts on the main event. Let's talk about it. Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez from this past Saturday. First off, I got to say shout out to Tracy Cortez for stepping up to take the fight on short notice. Well, wasn't too much of a short notice because she did have a fight she was preparing for, but short notice in the sense that she was definitely stepping it up against, somebody with more experience than her original opponent, Miranda Maverick. But yeah, man, shout out to Tracy for that. Namajunas, she came through in this fight just like I kind of figured she would. I was kind of back and forth on this one, thinking that, okay, Tracy, she's seen a lot of different styles, and I thought she was going to really find a way to win, but it's levels. There's always levels to it, no matter what. I mean, Rose is moving up from 115 to 125, but it's been, 2 fights now? This is her third one at 125, and if she is a smart fighter, which she knows she is, she's going to take the time to make sure that she's covering all the basics as far as, making sure that she's quick at this weight. Make sure that her speed and her overall body and physical strength is acclimated to the weight, and I think that's what Rose Namajunas, they've been doing. Like, they didn't pack on too much muscle, but they have packed on enough muscle to be able to hold their own in there. I mean, she's still not as big as the other fighters, probably not as strong as some of the top girls, like top 5, but you could definitely see Rose's strength in this fight. You could definitely see it, and the speed was there. Yeah, again, there's levels to this. So when I came back and looked at it again, as far as like just watching videos, I said, I got to come back on and I got to change my pick. I got to go back with Rose on this, because the more and more I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is going to be a clinic where she just picks Tracy Cortez apart. That's why I kept coming down to the math. Just kept saying, she's going to pick her apart, right? I mean, Tracy's a dog in there, but that's the level she's usually in there against, and she hasn't fought to this level yet. So when it comes down to it, Rose is going to pick her apart, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, Rose might just do that, But it wasn't just that, man. Like, Rose actually came through in the wrestling and the grappling here. I mean, she had the better takedowns as well. Like, when she would take Tracy Cortez down in this fight, she was keeping her down, and she had Tracy struggling against the cage, even in the clinches. Rose was fighting for those underhooks. Rose was the one dictating the pace on the inside, the outside. Overall, just well-rounded game plan from Rose. Like, her main strength in this fight, of course, was her striking, because she was quicker, and that's just her. Her IQ is, it's way better than Tracy Cortez when it comes down to the stand-up, But I thought that the physicality of Tracy Cortez and even her wrestling could have been a problem on the inside, but no, like, Rose and the team, they really worked on that, and they covered every basis in there. And yeah, Rose, she won this fight clearly. I mean, she pretty much swept it on some people's cards, and I could see that too. But before we talk about the fight, I want to say this first. Number one, I think that the commission should ban, for all fight organizations, I think they need to ban fake eyelashes. I'm not trying to be funny, but if you heard my live, I was going in on this because, for one, I know it was embarrassing to get that eyelash knocked off with that right hand, like you see here, but the other eyelash on her right side looked like it was like in her eye, and it was just kind of, messing up her, warping her vision, and just kind of distracting her. It almost looked like her eye was turning red because the other eyelash, was getting hit by the jab, and it was just kind of pushing it into her eyes. So I'm like, why are they letting people wear fake eyelashes in there? Like, you can't wear fake nails in there. Like, if it's anything that's going to do with anything that pertains to your hands and your vision, you shouldn't be able to wear that in there. I mean, it's bad enough when you have some of these girls come in and getting dialed up wearing makeup. Okay, that's one thing. But to wear eyelashes, fake eyelashes that could fall into your eye, mess up your vision, and get you knocked out, that's a problem. I mean, if we go back to boxing, like, even with hair, like Paulie Malignaggi, man, he came in there with this bad weave, or this bad set of extensions that looked like this octopus on his head. And every time he got hit, all of these braids would fall on his face, which pretty much about cost him the fight, because he was worried about his hair. And, like, that happens in women's boxing. These women wearing wigs in there. You take that thing off, man. Worry about being pretty after. Like, this is a fight. You can't come in a fight looking pretty. Take them wigs and them toupees off and these fake eyebrows and eyelashes off, because that's usually going to be the downfall in these fights. That's usually why these girls lose these fights, because they got eyelashes in their eyes, and they got these bad wigs on in there when they know they need to keep that stuff out of the cage. All right. All right, so with that out of the way, yeah, ban eyelashes right now, ASAP. But anyways, all right, going back looking at the first round. The first round pretty much set the pace for the fight. I mean, class was in session right away from Tracy Cortez. The leg kicks from Rose Namajunas, they were on point. They were connecting. Tracy Cortez, she was reacting to these calf kicks. The first round right away, those straight long shots from Rose. Good long jabs was cracking Tracy Cortez. And the thing was, it wasn't just like the power, it was the speed of the shots and the quickness of them. The way Rose was just able to, pop off 1-2 real quick as soon as Tracy would step in. Like Tracy's about to initiate a game plan and get on the inside, but while she's thinking, boom, boom, she gets hit. So she has to reset. And that's what a superior striker does. That's what a really good striker does. They can make you reset, when they step inside, outside without you even knowing. Like Rose takes these little subtle steps throughout these rounds and boom, she's in, she's getting her shot off. Tracy's trying to step in, get hers off. And by the time she hits her Rose with one, boom, she's getting caught with two. So that was kind of the pace of the first round. Rose just cracking her with that jab and that right and then going back, circling out, that lateral movement, measuring. And then when Tracy steps in, Rose steps out, clocks that eyelash right off her face and hits her with a left hook and drops her. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. She about to get knocked out. But somehow she gets back up. That dog in her keeps her in the fight. I think Rose kind of took her foot off the gas, but Rose just kind of pot shotted her way through, the first round and just kind of set the pace going into the second. I thought Tracy was getting into a groove. She did get a takedown, but yeah, Rose, she's strong, man. And, she was able to get back up. And that's the thing I was saying, like, Rose is not just like, it's not just an newly added strength here, but it's Rose's takedowns, period. Like her takedowns, her wrestling, and the way she positions her body is why she's always successful on the ground, even for a small fighter, right? Like, she was able to get back up from this takedown, but when she started getting her own takedowns, even in the third round and part of the second round, she would just like pull you down, and she's putting all that weight on you, and then she's in that half guard and just like really keeping your hips down, so she's really good at that. Like her top control was a problem. Like I know she said that Tracy's was a problem leading up to this fight, but that was just kind of like a psych out there because Rose, their top game was on point in this fight. And that's pretty much how it went the first 3 rounds. She just washed her with straight strikes, proving that she was faster, quicker in the feet, and then even taking it to the wrestling by taking her down in rounds 2 and 3 and just, pinning her there, pinning Tracy on the back and just leaving her helpless. Fourth round is where it kind of started to slow down for Rose. I think Rose still had the fight in the bag because she was still pot shotting here, landing some good jabs and cracking Tracy with these right hands when she would step in. But Tracy every now and then would get off a good combination to the head. Had she worked the body early, she probably would have got in more headshots because they didn't really focus on Rose's body and legs early. They were trying to go tit for tat upstairs. So I think Tracy got in more shots here, but Rose using her IQ, she got in another good takedown here and got in some good crown control time. And even against the cage, man, like when Tracy tried to press Rose was able to, just really defend against underhooks and then get her own and turn her and then separate, go back to the center. So, yeah, I think, pretty much from the fourth round on, it was all Rose. But the fifth round was the one that was in question, I know, because Rose slowed down here a little bit. I know in the past we used to see Rose maybe fight like 3 rounds and then maybe take a couple off for 4 rounds and take a couple off. But this time she really put in a lot of work for 4 rounds. So, yeah, I think she was going to take 5 off. And she kind of did because she got hit more here. Tracy was able to slow it down and get her back to the cage a little bit, land a few good combinations. And Rose kind of reeled back a couple of times. Not like she was hurt, but just kind of had to step out of the way. But she was still in it, just kind of picking her shots. And just those takedowns, man, like I said, from Rose, they were really just kind of frustrating and sapping Tracy Cortez's energy throughout this fight. But, yeah, probably round 5 was the closest one here because Cortez did kind of let it go here and try to go for a finish, but she just didn't have the tools in the game plan. So if you gave it to her or not, the 5th round doesn't really matter. Overall, she just got schooled in this fight. 50-45, I could have seen it. 49-46, don't really matter. Yeah, Rose pretty much swept her, dominated the fight. Good fight, though. Good technical fight. Good main event when it came down to it. I enjoyed it. Again, shout out to Tracy. I think Tracy, she just wanted to take a risk, because sometimes these risks and these opportunities, they don't come like that. So she probably said, you know what, let me go ahead and take this. It's more money. It's a main event. And what if I can catch Rose when she's not there? Like, what if Rose has an off day? This is my fight, right? So you would step out of that fight. You would step out of that fight. It's not like in boxing, sometimes you put one off, you ain't going to get a fight for 6 months. No, like here in the UFC, okay, I might be fighting next week, but yeah, I can move up to fight somebody a little bit more with more experience at higher ranking, somebody better, a week ahead. Okay, I'll take that, So you can always come back and fix that. That's why in MMA records are important as long as you're learning from these losses. But, overall, it's not like in boxing, you can still kind of move around and get a chance to find a better opportunity, when it comes down to fights. Like, of course, boxing makes more money. That's why we know that. But, as far as like being a better fighter. So, yeah, shout out to Tracy Cortez for taking the fight. From here, I think maybe she needs to fight down, maybe fight somebody like Lipsky or maybe fight Montana. Any of those fights, those are good. Or at some point, reschedule with Miranda Maverick maybe next year, like the end of next year. Just a lot of work needs to be done as far as her striking and timing and things like that. Just to be able to compete on a higher level, because now we see what level she's on, right? So, yeah, work on that, because she's going to lose to fighters like Rose, Natalia Silva, Manon, and Grasso, all those type of fighters, So, yeah, she really just needs a really good boxing coach and, work drill after drill with that boxing. As for Rose, though, she's calling for a title shot, which, is a no-go for me. You've already lost to Manon, who's next for a title shot. So I think for Rose, yeah, give her what she wants as far as maybe reschedule Macy Barber. Maybe reschedule the Macy Barber fight, or like she said, the BMF fight. So if she wants to do a BMF title fight, there's another fighter that said they want to do the BMF fight, and that's Jessica Andrade. So I know Jessica Andrade want a BMF. I don't know if she wanted 115 or 125, but if it's Rose, I'm sure she'd love to do the BMF 125, the BMF title at 125 with Rose. That's a good third fight. I don't know why people act like they don't like that fight. That's a good fight. That fight makes sense. 2+2. BMF title. In the meantime, while Grasso, Shevchenko, and Manon work out their title situation. In the meantime, this is if Silva win. This is if Silva loses the Andrade now. Like if Silva loses the Andrade, because she still has to wait for that. So that's just the option out there. But yeah, really, like if that doesn't come to fruition, then yeah, just do the Macy Barber reschedule or Aaron. I know I want to see Aaron versus Macy. There's these little triangles right now going on, but they got to get in. They gotta make these fights happen at some point, so we know who the next title challenger is after Manon. So I think any of those fights are good for Rose. Reschedule Barber, give her Macy. Reschedule Macy Barber, give her Aaron, or if she wants to wait for a BMF against Andrade, do that, or fight Natalia Silva. A lot of good fights. No bad fight right now. So yeah, any of those work for me, guys. What did y'all think of this main event this past weekend? Good clinic, good lesson learned for Tracy Cortez. Rose is filling out at the weight now. Still in question, of course, against the top 5. But this was good here, shows that she's stronger. She's getting her quickness here. But, of course, need to see it tested against one of the top 5. Just shows you that there was levels here. Cortez wasn't on that level. But, guys, what do y'all think? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.